And welcome back, everyone, to Box Office Report today on the 18th of February, 2024. Oh, doggy. You want to talk about not calling the box office? Bob Marley's One Love debuts with $27.7 million. Now, I believe that is just for the weekend as is. While looking at the actual, I actually haven't looked at any of the true numbers yet. Just the weekend as is, not including the Valentines Day opening day it had. Madam Web debuted with $15.1 million. Argyle made another $4.7 million. At least it took a decent drop in the third week. Too bad it didn't open well. Migration still in the top 5. Wow. $3.7 million. And then The Chosen, season 4, episode 4 through 6. I forgot that was coming out. I should have put. Did I forget that was coming out? I can't remember. That's number 5. So okay, let's just get into this. Bob Marley's One Love, $27.7 million worldwide. Right now, it stands at $80 million. Look, let me see here. Bob Marley's One Love. One second. Let's Bob Marley's One Love budget. $70 million was the budget. It doesn't have the best critical reviews, but the audience score is actually pretty good. So at $70 million, I remember seeing this trailer a lot, though. That's the problem. And then the main trailer, the first trailer, and then the main trailer after that. But I imagine it's probably not much more than like $50 million, because it's, EV advertising, trailers, things along those lines. I don't remember clips popping up that much. Not a huge marketing campaign behind it. So you're looking at a film probably on $120 million. So the film's, roughly speaking, going to make about 180. So look, 80 million is a good start, but keep in mind that the 51 domestic is throughout a 5-day week, because it opened officially on Wednesday. So we're looking at more of the 27 versus the 51. That said, however, it does at least have a good start. Even against 70 million, even 27, well, not a great number by any stretch of the means, is far from terrible. It's, again, cardinal rule, you got to make about a half of your budget back on the opening weekend to stand a really good chance of making your money back. That said, a third-ish is usually not a bad number, and that's what this would come in as. In fact, it would come in a little over a third. We'll see what the legs are on it, though. That's ultimately the test of any movie, is what the legs are. But look, by the way, I intended to see it on Friday, but I've been feeling like crap all week. My acid reflux was going haywire, causing me to feel God knows how bad. But it's actually finally, knock on wood, which I do have, my table is wood here, my desk is wood. Knock on wood, I am feeling a lot better now. Finally, it seems to have corrected itself out. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll catch it this week, but I mean, I got that, was it Driveway Dolls or something like that? Coming out this week. Let me get another tab open real quick here. What was that again? Is that what it was called? Driveway Dolls? Yeah, Driveway Dolls. I vaguely remember the trailer for that, so I don't know. Maybe I'll try to catch that, or at least I'll try to catch the Bob Marley movie. And that's why, by the way, I did see Madam Web. My review for it's up. I didn't do an out-of-theater reaction because I was with my girlfriend at the time. She doesn't like to be on camera or really a part of the channel all that much. So I respect that. I'm never going to make her feel uncomfortable. So that's why I didn't do an out-of-the-theater reaction for Madam Web. And I'm not going to do one for Bob Marley's One Love either. If I'm going to do an out-of-the-theater reaction, it's going to be pretty much the week of the release. That's just the way that's going to work. Perfect segue to Madam Web. Oh, man. Okay, so I haven't even looked at the number yet. I'm not going to look at the number yet. Thanks, Fo. There we go. Not going to look at the number yet. But I thought, even with the lackluster word of mouth we were hearing, that it was still going to be number 1. 27, it was hovering in the 30s to mid 20s. I got out of that movie, and while I still thought it was going to be number 1, when I saw that Bob Marley's One Love was going to be number 1, all I said to myself was, yeah, that tracks. My review for this is up. You can watch my more in-depth thoughts, but oh my God, this very well may be it's in the top 5 at any rate. worst comic book movies I have ever seen. Maybe. I'd have to that's a list I could probably do at some point. Top 10 worst comic book movies ever made, in my personal opinion. I don't know if it's the worst comic book movie ever made. I mean, things like. Here's the thing about saying something like that, like comparing it to a Steel with Shaquille O'Neal, which is 90s. It's terrible, but it's 90s. You can have fun with that movie. A Catwoman, so bad it's good. And here's the thing. I might say there's an argument at any rate that Madam Web could be the worst comic book movie ever made. Because at least in every one of those other movies I just described, people felt like they were trying. Except for whoever the villain was in Steel. He didn't feel like he was trying. But still, the majority of people in every one of those movies, even Morbius, felt like they were trying. Only Adam Scott felt like he was actually trying. The girls, the three girls, not Cassandra Cain, Maddie, whatever their names are, theoretically felt like they were trying, but they were so badly written that it just negated whatever effort they were putting in. And our lead is so unlikably bland. It's beyond mind-boggling. I agree. I'm going to go on a minor rant before we actually look at the numbers here. A lot of people have given David Zaslav, Warner Brothers, Discovery, flack for cutting movies and just shelving them, saying, that you should let the people see it. A lot of people worked on that. How dare you do that? It's that's a bad business model. And the correct response is you're fucking high, because you're not the one running the damn company. You're not the one who has to look at the numbers, look at what the buzz is, and say, we're going to lose money on this. Let's just shelf it. And with Batgirl, it's going to hurt the property even more. We need to just say, no, it's no good. You're not the one making those calls. Playing with anyone else's money is totally easy to do when it's not your money. You don't have any risk. So if you're the one saying that, they should have released it, you have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry. First off, you didn't see the movie, so you don't know how good it really was. And second of all, it's not your money, so you should just shut up. I'm sorry. I get so sick and tired of hearing the fans, and we all do it to a degree. I do it too. But the fans basically say, no, they should have. You're not the one who's got to sign the checks. You're not the one who's got to manage all of this. And Madam Web is a perfect example of a film that should not have been made. But even if you were going to make it, even if after you made it, you look at it and go, we can't release this. Because now, Sony's already been trying to do a tightrope walk with their cinematic universe. The Venom movies have done very well from audiences and from the box office. Morbius was a flop. It was a failure. But one loss is fine. This one, and as bad as that is, I can still get some fun, because even in Morbius, I felt like people were at least putting some effort in. Matt Smith at least is having a ball in that movie. But this movie, no, this is going to hurt Venom 3 and Kraven coming up. And Kraven already had some bad words going on, not bad words, had some not some great rumors coming around from it that the quality of the film is. Anyway, though. So what did Madam Web actually do now that we've had that little time together? 25.8 million, 51 million worldwide. Now the film is made on about an $80 million budget. The one silver lining this film has, legit, is that its marketing budget is practically non-existent for a movie of this scale. Because they only released the one movie and a couple TV spots, all that. But the one trailer, they only released it because they didn't even bother releasing a second trailer. Which means you might, I don't know the actual amount. I'll have to look it up by the end of the year. Which means this film might be lucky enough to have a marketing budget only $30 million or something like that. Which would mean it's $110 million, which would then mean that you're looking at a film that doesn't even have to hit 180 to break even. You're looking at a film then that has to hit about 165, let's say 170. If hypothetically the film can hit 170 million, I'll call that breaking even. But I don't even think this film can do that. That's how bad this film is. That's how bad the word of mouth is. It's just, this is not a movie that should have been made. This is not a movie you should have released, Sony. This is going to bite you in the ass hard. We'll see. We'll see. Adam Webb is going to be a very ongoing epic of a story about what the hell is going on. But until then, let's move on to some, brighter news. Argyle, which has 4.7 million worldwide, is at 77 million. Again, this is just this is not a film that this is not the same as Madam Web, where it should not have been made, should not have been released. No, it's fine, whatever. Didn't need to be made on the budget was made on. I believe I tracked it at or saw it at 120 million or something like that. Or I can't remember exactly what it was. It was a big amount. And honestly, most of the studios this year, let's actually go to the worldwide right now. Most of the studios this year are not doing well. Seriously. There's been a couple wins, but oh man, 77 million Argyle. Again, we'd be repeating the motions right now about what went wrong. But what went wrong? Not a good marketing campaign, and the movie's just not that good. I'd still say it's probably one of the better movies I've seen this year, but that's really not saying a lot. Beekeeper still stands as the best film I've seen this year. Dune 2 doesn't come out for another 2 weeks. I can't say it's been. Watch me watch Dune 2, which I loved the first Dune, and say, I think Beekeeper's better. Wouldn't that be ironic? But anyway, Migration. So finally some good. 3.7 million. It actually went up. 256 million. It's now. I mean, look. It's had some more international releases. It's now firmly made its money back. It had made its money back for a while, but it's now made an actual chunk of profit, which is good. Which is good. I believe, Universal, if I remember correctly, Universal, I calculated as the number 1 winner at the box office last year. Yeah, it was Universal, because Universal had Barbie, and that pretty much did it. So yeah, was it Universal? No, sorry. Warner Brothers had Barbie. I apologize. Universal had Oppenheimer, but they also had a couple other films that brought them over the edge. And yeah, good for Migration. It's a fun little movie. The Chosen at season 4, episodes 5 through 6, made about 4.2 million. Good for it. I have nothing to add to that. Wonka, 3.4 million. Where does Wonka stand at? Hey, finally did it. I said it probably could do it, and it did it. It crossed 600 million this week. I don't know why I feel so jazzed about that. Maybe it's just because I love the movie so much, but I'm just so glad to see a good movie get the recognition it deserved. It doesn't help, it doesn't hurt that the lack of A, competition, and B, good competition hurt it out quite a bit. Didn't help, helped it out quite a bit. It doesn't hurt. But yeah, I mean, at this point now, there's Wonka's now pretty much hit its benchmark. It's not hitting 650. It's not going to do that. At best, it might hit 610, 615. But it's literally in its 10th week. First off, think about that for a second. It's in its 10th week, and both it and Migration both just took an uptick, even after losing screens in its audience box office. This tells us several things. One, solid movies, so you're going to go back to see them. But 2, and this I think is the more important part, there is still no real kid-friendly material coming out. These are families, especially if you're on vacation. So I think you're either, which is for winter break, is either this week or next week, one of the two. It's either coming up or it just happened for school. So kids would be out of school for a little bit. So yeah, when you don't have new material, you go back to the stuff that worked and that people liked, and it's let's go see that again. It's okay. So he'll keep you quiet for a little bit. So yeah, it's just good. That's what happens when you make good materials for certain audiences. They're going to go back to see it multiple times. Then you got The Beekeeper, which I had actually already seen what it currently had made, $143 million. Now look, there are people I watch different news pundits or film pundits, and one that basically said it's not blowing up the box office. I mean, I think it's super successful. No one went to see it. I'm sorry. Okay, look. To the person who said that, and they're never going to watch this, I respect the term. If the film had only made 15 million or something like that, that's no one went to see it. That's saying no one went to see the original John Wick, which is not true, but a small amount of people did. But then more people came for the second, the third, the fourth, so forth and so on. $143 million worth of, pretty much $44 million worth of people went to see The Beekeeper. That's not I mean, in terms of big blockbusters, that's nothing, sure. But in terms of a relatively low budget, around 30 million, probably only 20 or so in marketing, film that you have to cut a third out of, this film went on to probably make about $40 million in profit. Is that huge? No, but is that big by low budget standards? Yeah. Is that, and it's still making money. Is that big by January standards? Absolutely. In fact, I wonder if the Box Office Mojo tracks the January box office records. And I don't mean like opening weekend. I mean like highest grossing all time of a certain month. Let me see here. All time. Let's see. Do they have let's see here. Domestic, weekend records, daily records, miscellaneous, right? Overall. Show worldwide. PG-13. You'd think, I mean, they got the weekend records here. You'd think maybe they would track or add a system here where, I'll try miscellaneous records. Maybe it's there. Let's see here. Opening weekends, biggest weekends. Oh, okay, hold on. Top grossing month. Okay, all right. Top grossing months. January. All right. This is tracking the top grossing overall months. Like, that's the top grossing January. Oh, that's adding all the months together, which, okay, that's something, but not quite what I wanted. I mean, right now, January 2010 is the highest grossing month. January ranks as the second highest grossing month, I think. What? That makes no sense. How does this work? Top grossing months. January 2010 being the highest January. All months. July. Is it averaging it out? I don't know how this is working. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. All I was going for was, by January standards, this is maybe not the highest because I think Scream came out in January, maybe like 160 or something like that. But still, it's doing very well for itself. For a small budget film, it's doing very well. Speaking of which, Anyone But You, 2.4 million. I think this film's 189 million. Again, there's nothing coming out, so we just go back to see the stuff we liked. So there you go. That's really, I mean, there you go. There's not much else to it. And Sony definitely needed an up from last year, so good for it. Lisa Frankenstein, hey, it only lost one screen, but dropped 45%. So, hey, at least it's got a decent review. Lisa Frankenstein was not up my alley, so I didn't go to see it. Land of Bad. I saw something about this, but let's see. When an Army OD team is ambushed by their only hope lies on Air Force JTAC Liam Hemsworth and a drop pilot Russell Crowe to guide them through a brutal 48-hour battle of survival. Okay, actors need work. They took a role. There you go. I saw no promotion for that whatsoever. Mean Girls, 1.1. Did finally cross 100 million. Good for it. I have little to say on that at this point. Let's see here. American Fiction, which won the Oscar. Best Picture candidates, as well as winning a couple other, or being nominated for a couple other rewards. A little under $1 million, made about 20. Let's see here. What else we got? The nominated shorts. Poor Things is 92 million. I still believe, and again, that's not A24, so why am I saying A24? I was about to say Everything Everywhere All at Once, but again, that's not this is not an A24 film. Aquaman Lost Kingdom, 433, again, pretty done. Night Swim, 740. 48 million? Oh, so close. So close. Yeah, it's a pretty lackluster week otherwise. We're not going to start to see the real big, like, the year box office week-to-week numbers really kick in until March. That's basically it. Because once then, we're going to start. In fact, I can at least show off the next couple weeks, give or take. So starting on March 1st, we've got Dune Part 2, obviously. We got Kung Fu Panda 4 and Imaginary coming up, both of which are probably going to do very well. One for the kid audience and one for the fun horror audience. Let's see here. Yep. And there's Imaginary. Cabrini is also wide release, but I don't think anyone knows about that film. Then it would be March 17th, I believe. No, March 15th. March 15th, you got Love Lies Bleeding. No idea what that is. Arthur the King. That week will be a bit of a mild week, which will be good because that means Dune, Kung Fu Panda, Imaginary will be able to collect some extra cash. And then the following week after that, I know for a fact, is Ghostbusters Afterlife, Frozen Empire, and then it's Godzilla X Kong, and at that point, we're well into the movie season now. So yeah, March is really where we're going to start to see the pickup at the box office. Right now, it is just doldrums. And seeing as next week, all we have is the wide release of the Driveway Dolls. And let's see here. Driveway Dolls and there we go, 23. Driveway Dolls and Stolen Valley, which again, I don't know anything about that. But and Ordinary Angels. That will probably be in the top 5. But we have Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer, I almost guarantee you, will be number 1 because those anime releases have been actually bringing in big bucks on their opening week. They don't stay very long, but they are a flash in the pan and they come hot and quick. So I will go Demon Slayer for number 1 next week. I will follow that with Bob Marley. Oh God, after that, I'm not going to lie, I think Ordinary Angels will be number 3. I will at least say Madam Web will be number 4. And then I'll put the Driveway Dolls at number 5. Madam Web, even though it's probably going to take like a 60+ drop, would still put it higher than Argyle in its 4th week. So I'll at least say that. I just don't know if the Driveway Dolls are really going to be bringing an audience in. But we'll see. What did you think of this week's box office? Why do you, apart from the fact it's a terrible movie, why do you think Madam Web failed? Personally, it's because Sony didn't show any faith in the movie. They didn't market it well at all. They simply just hid the movie. That's my personal thought anyway. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you folks later. Have a good one.